right? So like my mom, and this is not a sorry Michael Barayev. This is just to motivate and inspire someone because, you know, a lot of people walk around with this victim mentality with what they went through. And
100%.
I despise that because victim mentality is not a victor mentality. You need to have a victor mindset because you're
that.
never going to get out of that situation if you don't think that you're a champion and you're a winner.
Welcome to Entrepreneur Unleashed, where we sit back and meet with other entrepreneurs, learn about their stories so you can learn vicariously. As you know, I honestly believe that's one of the best ways you can put into action knowledge into your own life is by taking it from others who have gone through the challenges and the pitfalls that either you've gone through yourself or you may currently be in there, and learn from them in order to get to the other side. So I just want to welcome you and welcome our guest today in the studio, Michael Barayev.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for inviting us.
Wonderful. I'm happy to be here. Happy to have you here, actually. I want to learn a little bit more about your story, though. I know you and I had a chance to meet. We met, I think it was September of last year, September of 2021. We sat down at a table together. It was a pretty interesting conversation we had there. But for our audience, I want to learn a little bit more about you and what you do. So tell us where you are right now, and then we'll go a little bit into the backstory.
Yeah, so right now we have a solar company, and we have about 40-something employees in the company.
Okay.
30-something are salespeople. We got about 14 staff, and we pretty much are helping an environment, helping consumers with, you know, going solar. Because right now there's a big movement in solar, and as you can see, the utility companies are just killing consumers, and oil prices are going up, and all this stuff. So we're out there, you know, making a difference in people's lives by helping them save money by going green. And it wasn't like that. We just started this channel, this company a year ago. So literally from June to now.
Okay.
So we've been growing really fast.
Exactly. You said you're at 40 people now on your team.
Yeah, 40 something. I know exactly. It just grows every single week. We just hired like 5 new people last week. We're always hiring. So it's like,
you're located in Miami, or?
Yeah, we're in Miami, South Florida right now.
Okay. How did you get interested in solar?
I was kind of forced into it. You know, like actually I started my company in 2016. Okay. And we were doing door-to-door sales. And, you know, I had like 5 to 8, actually 9 guys that started with us in the beginning. And we grew it to 150 sales guys in less than 2.5 years. And then we did all that in 2020, boom, pandemic, right? Yeah, so we couldn't knock on doors. Everything was on pause. We had like 6, 7 offices. You know, it wasn't an easy time. And I had to make some tough decisions. And it was a very, very crazy time for me personally, because I looked at all the people that were suffering because of my decisions, right? Because at the end of the day, you as an owner, you as a CEO,
100%.
If your team is winning, awesome to them. But when your team is losing, it's your fault. And I always 100%. Looked at it that way. So learned a lot of valuable lessons. And I was in New York, New Jersey, mainly Northeast area. And over there, the government was just not letting us do what we needed to do. And it was months before we can actually start working. So it was a very painful moment. And I was like, I'm not doing this ever again. Okay. And then I had my coaching business. I was doing a little bit of real estate. And then 2 of my guys were like, we got to do something. We got to do something. Let's do solar. Let's do something. You have all this talent and experience. Why not just do it again and literally blow everything in the water? And I was like, nah, I don't want to do it again. Like, I was kind of like hurt so much that I didn't want to start again. And something inside of me said, you know what, Mike? You know, the first time you did it, it grew very fast in 2.5, 3 years. Like, you might have gotten lucky or blessed. I always wear this thing that says be lucky because I am blessed by God. And I feel like everyone should feel that way as well. But I felt a little bit of lucky too. And I was like, did I just get lucky? Or was it really something in my heart or my skill set that really got the results that we had for all our team members and all of us, right? And I said, you know what? What if I just give this one more shot? Okay. One more all in. And if I'm going to do it, I'm going to go all in. That's the kind of person I am. Like, I don't do half nothing. Yeah. And for those people that are watching, like, you cannot create success in anything you do if you go half-ass.
I agree.
You got to go all in.
Wholeheartedly, as you
know. You got to go all in. So in April, May, we made a decision. We kind of dabbled in May just to kind of see if it was worth the market. And then June, we went all in.
Now, so you were in New Jersey and New York area at the time. And
in 2019.
You explored here. You explored the Miami area.
In 2019, actually, I moved down to Miami. So I was living in Miami and I was living in New York, New Jersey. When the pandemic happened in 2020,
so you're going back and forth.
I was back and forth, but I was like, you know what? Like, all these politics, lunatics, woodticks in that North region, I was like, I'm done. So I had to make a tough decision, say, okay, I'm done with this. I got to start fresh and be in, friendly business states.
So that's interesting. You said tough decision. Why was it tough? Like, I mean, I think you and I are cut from the same cloth in that, like, I'm a family focused, but freedom loving. Like, New Jersey's
I'm a big freedom. No.
Yeah, New Jersey's not that. So, like, why was it tough to leave that area?
Because New York and New Jersey have golden handcuffs. Okay. It's really beautiful to build something out there. It's a great city, but like, you have a lot of handcuffs. Just like the government, a lot of times to say, here, we're going to give you food stamps. The problem with that is, and we'll kind of get into my story, is that it comes with golden handcuffs. Like, you cannot You cannot go out there and create income, because if you create income, you're above the poverty line
Yep.
and you lose all your benefits, and that hurts, like my father, for example, he doesn't want to get a job till this day. I love him to death, but because he has all these benefits that the government gives him, and he can't go out there and create a little bit of money for himself. And that's the challenge.
Yeah, that's the whole issue with redistributing wealth. When you redistribute it without any fetters or any gatekeeping process or even an accountability process,
100%.
it becomes an issue, because you do get people who become way too reliant on it.
And I learned a long time ago, like, production cures all diseases. You want to go get out of your situation,
100%.
Go produce. And the government stops you from producing.
100%. We actually had a conversation this afternoon about this earlier, where we're talking about this concept of just giving away too much and not getting any benefit back from that group of society. Now, don't get me wrong, there are absolutely people who need help, and very much interested in helping those people. But I'm more of like, teach a man to fish rather than give the fish.
100%. Because when you give things to people, they don't value it.
Yeah.
Like, you have to earn it. Everything in my life is about earning it. Like, I always have this saying, earn your pillow, earn your pillow. It's one of our commandments in our company.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you go out there, you put your all out there. Because, and I don't ask my guys to go all in for 5 years, 10 years. Like, that's the scariest thing to do.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I have my fiance right now. Like, I told her since day one, like, I'm going to go all in one day at a time. Because to me, it's a very big commitment to say, I'm going to be with you till the day I die.
Right,
but I can commit to you one day, 1 week, 1 month. And 5.5 years later, here we are together, right?
Yeah, it's a promise you make to yourself every day, promise you make to others every day, and it's consistency.
100%. So back to the story. When it comes to New Jersey, why was it tough? It was because you can't make everybody happy. When you have 100+ people, some people love you, some people hate you at that moment, and you have to make a tough decision. I was like, okay, if I keep continuing to do this in New York, New Jersey, what will happen to us 5, 10 years down the road? Long term, it just didn't make sense. Okay. And I didn't see at that time, like, when is this shutdown going to end? Like, is it going to ever end? We had no idea. Days turn into weeks turn into months, and it's like August, September. I was like, that's it. I'm making a decision. I'm going to pull the bleeding right now. Like, you have a Band-Aid on a wound, and you're like, you want to kind of like peel it off. Like, yo, I just snatched that Band-Aid off. Let whatever happen. I said, I'm just going to kind of start fresh, do what I need to do.
Let's unpack a little bit, because one of the things I find most intriguing about you is that you have gone through struggles in your life.
Oh, yeah, man.
But let's talk about before you actually got that entrepreneurial bug. Like, what was Mike like before business? Like,
oh, man. Just to give you a little bit of my story. So my mom and my dad, I grew up in domestic violence, right? So like my mom, and this is not a sorry Michael Barayev. This is just to motivate and inspire someone, because, a lot of people walk around with this victim mentality with what they went through. And
100%.
I despise that, because victim mentality is not a victor mentality. You need to have a victor mindset, because you're never going to get out of that situation if you don't think that you're a champion and you're a winner. So just to kind of go through my story, my parents almost killed each other growing up. Like, there was the police, the 112 precinct in New York. They literally called me by my building name. Oh, you're the 8911 kid, right? Every day, every week. And it was just very bad. So my parents almost killed each other. My father was very abusive. My father became really into religion. He was very forcing, very controlling. I couldn't even go out to play ball until I was 13 years old by myself. Like, I wasn't allowed to go anywhere. Like, it was a crazy, crazy situation. And, I went through 9 schools, and 8 of them kicked me out.
Wow.
So I wasn't that kid that you would say, like, that's the guy I'm betting on and rooting for. As a matter of fact, people actually said, your kid is a menace to society. Your kid is not going to help anyone. Your kid, kids in school that hung out with me, their parents would be afraid to have them hang out with me. Right, it was scary for them. They used to always tell them, don't hang out with Michael. Like, that was the thing.
So little Michael was aggressive. Was he violent? Like,
I wasn't violent. I was just full of energy. I want to say bad. My father always said, you have a great heart. It's just your behavior sucks.
Okay.
Like, you're academically, I was awesome, but things were like, I just understood things very well in school. Okay. I was sharp.
So it was easy for you.
It was super, I don't want to say easy, like I was better than anyone. Just to me, it came natural to me. I was very sharp with the education. It was easy, but I couldn't pay attention because the teachers didn't know how to connect with someone like me. Like, you can consider me like a hypomania maybe, right? Okay. And I'm actually reading a book about it, because Christopher Columbus was a hypomania. Thomas Jefferson, Hamilton was a hypomania. There's a bunch of people, and it's not a bad thing. It's just, we're different. We're different.
We're divergent. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
It's different. It's not normal. And most people don't know how to deal with people with our personalities. You can either end up being like, a criminal, a bad person, like a Hitler or whatever, or you can become an amazing person like Christopher Columbus or Hamilton or George Washington, all those great people. So we have that chance and that choice to make as an individual. Okay. So, going through domestic violence, my mom and my dad got divorced at 13, 14 years old. My mom left me at 10 years old with my dad, which I had this abandonment issue because I felt like my mom didn't love me, that she kind of left me and threw me into my father's hands, which I didn't really want to be with. Like that adolescent age, it was just crazy.
Okay.
So 0 to 19, I always say to everyone, my life was chaos. I can't remember any happy moments. I don't remember my dad kissing my mom ever. Like, it was just chaos.
Okay.
14, 15 years old, I ended up going to a Macy's, stealing a jacket because our friends kind of pressured us to do so.
Okay.
And I ended up in foster care.
Oh,
like for 2-3 years, I was in foster care.
Okay.
Worst traumatic experience in my life because I was getting beat up. It was just waking up every single morning was people peeing on you, peeing in your shampoo bottle, stealing your clothes. Like, it was crazy. It was a mess. It was ruthless.
That's rough.
So growing up, I ended up being so lonely that I didn't want to be friends with anyone because I was afraid that if I get close to someone, they're gonna hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
So I grew up with this pain, this chip on the shoulder.
Yeah.
I'm gonna prove the world wrong, and that's kind of like how I became 18, 19 years old. I was like, I'm gonna become successful to prove all you haters, all you people that said I'm not gonna be doing anything, I'm gonna be a bum, I'm gonna end up doing all this bullshit. I ended up proving a lot of them wrong. That was like my driver. Right? I never did drugs, never did alcohol for that reason because I'm like, okay, everyone expected me to do drugs.
Right.
Everyone expected me to drink alcohol and do all these things.
You're going to prove
I'm going to prove them wrong. That was like my fire. Like, that's what motivates me.
I love that. So you're 13 now. Your parents divorced at that point, 13, 14, somewhere in that age. Like, the rest of your academic career is pretty reasonable because it came easy for you.
It was easy. It was just challenging because I was getting kicked out of schools every year and a half.
That's what I was just going to get to. So you're going to different
schools. Schools didn't want me. I got expelled out of 8 schools.
Wow.
8 schools said, listen, we don't want your son
This is all throughout New York area?
This is all New York.
Okay.
New York and then upstate New York. Yeah.
Okay. So when you look at your transition into adulthood, like, what was that like?
Scary.
Like, did you go to university?
I mean, I went to LaGuardia Community College because the foster care program paid me to go. So I was like, I'm paying to go. I'll do it.
Okay.
But I was so confused. I was so lost. I lived my entire life with fear. Like, they talk about having faith and having fear.
Yeah.
And you can't create decisions unless you have faith in your life. I was full of fear. I was so scared. I was scared of making money. I was scared of every time I got money, I started to hoard it because I was afraid of what's going to happen in the future. Because my life was very inconsistent. It was change all the time. Kicked out of this school, getting kicked out, went to Israel, ran away with my mom and my dad. My mom ran away from my dad to Israel.
Wow.
And then we had to come back because we couldn't, handle that stress. So my life was always like change, chaos. And until I read the book, Who Moved My Cheese, I didn't like change.
That's a great book, actually.
Amazing book. Changed my life, right?
Yeah.
No pun intended. But that was an awesome book that said to me, change is a good thing.
Yes.
As long as you're changing the direction you choose to change.
Exactly.
Not just random change, right?
Yeah.
So to me, I love consistency, which is why I'm so disciplined. And that really just kind of that brewed in me a lot. Like, I had a lot of pain, a lot of trauma. I'm still working on it. I'm 30 years old. Yeah. I'm still figuring myself out to become the best version I can for myself and for my team. But all that rubbish, that junk, I learned to work with it. I learned to let it go. I forgive my dad. I forgive. I am such a free person because I learned to let it go. And that was a very big lesson that I needed to learn in my early 20s.
I think a lot of people need to learn that in general because it can be so difficult to let go things that are so painful.
Yes.
Because obviously you take it personally. Like, if this has happened to you, you're in a situation where your parents didn't express what you needed them to express to you, didn't create an environment that you needed to be able to thrive in. So it's hard not to say, wait a minute.
It's hard, but you have to, like I said, you got to get out of the victim mentality. And nothing happened to me.
Right.
Everything happened for me exactly what I needed. Because if I didn't go through that, I don't think I'll be who I am today.
You wouldn't be Michael.
Not only would I be Michael, but I wouldn't be able to be the impactful leader that I am today. Not to say that I'm the best leader. No, I'm always working on it. But I know I can make a change and impact on other people because of my story, because of who I am. And a lot of people are afraid to share their story. They're afraid of, sharing that they got raped or sharing that they got robbed or they did some stupid stuff in their young childhood. It's okay. It doesn't define you.
Vulnerability is actually that thing that makes you connectable because everyone goes through those things. Everyone goes through hardship of some sort. Obviously, not everyone goes through the same hardships that you personally went through. But if you're vulnerable and you make yourself basically your story known to others, they can connect with you in a more real way. And that's why you
100%.
have the following you have. That's why you have the people and community that you have around you because you're willing to share. I mean, you're willing to come on a podcast like this and just tell your real story.
Always, because I know there's one guy, that one person, you may be watching this right now and it changes your life, boom, my mission is complete. Because I know I was looking for a mentor. At 19, I made a decision. I need to change my life because I cannot keep going this way. I had demons in here beating me up, eating me alive. And I said, I need to make a change. I need to change my life somehow, some way. I need to find some kind of mentorship, some kind of business, some kind of group, something. And that's how I got started at 19 with one of my mentors meeting me in the gym.
Yeah, let's unpack that a bit. Tell me a little bit about that mentor experience for you.
So it was the best experience ever because I needed that change, and it just came out of nowhere, right? What you seek, you
were
will find.
just at the gym, and it just
I was
happened.
at the gym. He was talking to me. He had 7 children. I was like, he has 7 children. I was like, wow. And in my mind, I was like, wow, can I be your 8th child? Because I need some help. You know what I mean? Like, how are they eating? I was like, how do they survive?
Yeah,
and at that time, he kind of, invited me to a business group. It was a multi-level marketing business.
Okay.
It was Amway. It was an amazing
Amway.
opportunity for me. At 19 till 24, I did that, and it changed my entire life. Because I learned about personal development. I learned about what you sow, you shall reap. I learned about the positive of your words and your action. Because I had no idea. Because from 0 to 19, with my life being so chaotic, I was literally self-destructing myself with negative thoughts and self-licking myself with my wounds. And I was like, why am I feeling this way? Because of my words.
Right.
And your words make a big impact on your life.
Create your reality.
And it changed everything for me. Like, I remember exactly where I was sitting at this event. There was like 5,000 people. I was sitting in the 4th row, middle of the row, and I was looking at the speaker. And his name was John Crow. And at that moment, when he said, what you think about, you will speak. What you speak about, you will act. What you act about, right? Well, your actions will determine your character. Your action will determine your habits. Your habits will determine your character, and your character will determine your destiny. I was like, wow. Now I know why I feel the way I feel, because my words and my thoughts are garbage.
Yeah.
So I needed to change immediately. From that event, this was January 2011. My life changed. 100%.
Wow. Now, what did you do in order to change your thoughts? And what was the process?
It was very challenging because every single thought that came into my mind and every single word that came out of my mouth was extremely negative. It was always victim. Why me? Why me? Why me?
Absolutely.
So I had to learn to change the why me to now try me. How do I become a better me?
Okay.
How do I change my mindset? So I started reading books. Okay. My mentor asked me, hey, by the way, do you read books? He came to his bookshelf in his house, one of the nights, like, you read books? I was like, books are for losers. Yeah. And the biggest loser in that room was me.
Exactly.
And what I realized was like, okay, he's like, well, if you want to be a leader, if you want to become, change your life, you got to start reading.
Yeah, leaders.
I was like, but I can't read. All these excuses came out of my mouth. Yeah. And he was a smart man. He gave me a simple book, 60 pages, 60 paragraphs, 60 lines basically, with a picture on the side. It was called 60 Seconds to Success. Okay. Never forget that book. Okay. And I read that book for 2 months. 1 paragraph a day. Okay. And that changed my life because that's when I started to read books. Okay. Now I read about 60, 70 books a year. Wow, okay. Right? But at that time, reading a book? Yeah. Michael Barayev reading books? Oh, hell no. You know what I mean? But that's how I started to change the books, the association. I always say this, the ABCDs, right? Yeah. Your association is everything. Who are you hanging out with? Are you going to events? Like, we met at an event. Yeah, we met. I would have never met you if I didn't invest the time, 100%. The money, the energy to be at that event, right? Yep. But now me being around you, it makes me sharper. It makes me better. Yeah, it's a little bit selfish. Yeah, I want to become a better me. Totally fine. I want to sharpen my axe. Absolutely. So I can add value to someone else. So that's A. B is books, right? Mm-hmm. Are you reading the right content? So many people read all this cockamamie stuff out there. Yeah. Harry Potter is awesome. God bless J.K. Rowling. She's awesome. Beautiful, but it's entertainment. It's not education. It ain't changing my life to learn about what magic... Can I magically change my life? No. Okay? Experium speriotis. Is that how to change my life, exactly. Right? I wish I could erase my memory, but I can't. That's the books. The C is the CDs or the audios, right? What are you listening to? What are you paying attention to? My car is a university on wheels. Yeah. We hear that a lot, but many people are not utilizing. Put it into practice. Exactly. I don't listen to music in my car. Yeah. Once in a blue moon with my girl, whatever. Maybe. But in reality, 95% of the time, it's me programming my brain with the content that I want. I love D is the discipline you put in, because at the end of the day, you can put all this amazing information inside your head, but if you don't go out there and hustle, if you don't go out there and apply the information, you're a smart derelict. Yeah. Right? That's not going to do anything for you. You got to create the discipline and create action into the universe. And then E is with your effort. F is with your focus. G, you're going to hit your goal. And that's my mindset with the A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Right? And that's changed my freaking life for years, for the past 10, 11 years. Who taught you that? That was me. That's you. I love copyrighted. That. Yeah, I like that. I like it. Definitely. I may steal it though. You can't. Royalties. When you come up with your idea of developing you as a person, and you made that decision at a very early age as an adult, like 19, 20 years old, you said, okay, I'm gonna change my life. You started doing that through the help with this mentor. What did you do that got you into your first business, like actually acting as a business owner? So I actually I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I always had this fear, right? This fear of risk, fear of losing, fear of all this stuff, and fear controlled me, right? Okay. And I remember I was working in the diamond, 17 years old. When one of my first gigs that I was kind of like out there hustling on my own was working in the Diamond District of 47th Street.
Okay. Yeah.
And working the 47th Street, if you ever seen any videos, you should go watch it. It's just insane where people are literally like harpooning customers in the street. And I was carrying customers. The competition's calling me a rapist. He's going to steal your money. He's a thief. All this, it's just crazy environment, right? I hated it every single day. But I did it because I had no job. Like nobody offered me a job.
Right.
I went through the mall at 17, 18 years old. Nobody wanted to hire me. Like, you're unhireable. I felt always like nobody wanted me, right?
This is like an outcast.
Always. That's the common theme that I always felt like, right? To my fault at the end of the day, right?
Yeah,
I'm a little bit.
Yeah, you didn't know what you didn't know back
I didn't
then.
know. Correct. Yeah.
Exactly.
And at that time, like, going to work in the 47th Street industry in that area, the 47th, it drove me nuts. I hated it every single day and I wanted out. So in my mind, from 19 to 24, my vision was like, I got to build this Amway business because that's my exit.
Okay.
That's my exit to create financial freedom.
This was 2011-ish?
2010 to 2015. That was my plan. While I was doing that, I was working in the Diamond District, making a couple of dollars. Some days I'll make zero.
Bit side hustle.
Side hustle just to survive. Living in my mom's house, making probably the maximum I ever made was like $10,000, $11,000 for the past those past couple of years, right? And then a friend of mine, Mohammed, is like, yo, Mike, I got this crazy opportunity for you. You got to come see it. I was like, I'm good, man. Like, I'm so focused on this Amway business. Like, I was so blinded, which you have to be open sometimes, which at the time I was like, you know what? Let me just see what it's about. I showed up to the interview with sweatpants. It was an AT&T job. It was a sales job. Put my feet in the desk and said, okay, why should I work here? That was like my attitude. It was very bad.
Yeah.
The guy actually hired me, surprisingly. I don't know how. I don't know why. I worked there for 7 months, and I worked straight commission selling home security.
Okay. Door to door, or?
It wasn't really door to door. It was like a new company that was basically just setting up leads through the phone. I just had to show up to the appointments and just close deals. Okay. It was a weird situation. Made a couple $1,000. It wasn't like a real foundation because it was a pilot.
Sales. It was sales.
It was sales, but it wasn't really sales because I didn't understand what I was doing at that time, right? Okay. Went back every time I had no opportunity. Guess where I went back to? 47th Street. That was the easiest way to make a couple of dollars, survive, go home. That's it. And then at 2014, a friend of mine in my Amway business was making $50,000 a year selling Time Warner Cable. I'm like, this guy's lazy, man, making 50 grand. I'm like, if this guy's making 50 grand, I'm going to rip this thing. I'm going to make 100. And that was my mindset. He got me an opportunity to work there, spoke to the manager. I got hired. In those 11 months, I made about 80, 90 grand.
Wow. Okay.
So for me to go from like making 20, 30,000 a year to that 90,000, my confidence went through the roof. Yeah. Right, and all I was doing was setting up table events in the middle of the street in 47 in Regal Park, by Sears and Marshall. I don't know if you know the area. Put a tablecloth. Time Warner. Right. Get a bunch of sales. Made some decent money at the time, and that motivated me. People started laughing. People from the neighborhood, the people that I used to go to school with, everyone started looking at telling my mom, "Why is your son doing this? You know, he can't get a real job. All this stuff," and that fueled me. Oh yeah. Like anytime someone says it can't be done or making fun, I'm like, perfect. This is like what I need, man.
This is my fuel, right?
This is my fuel. They didn't realize that. They thought they thought they were hurting me.
Exactly.
They were fueling me. I got fired one day. Okay. The next day, one of my friends had an interview for Verizon, which is the competitor. I was crying today because I lost this opportunity to make some money because I was so close to hitting that 100K. That was my mind.
You're right there.
Bro, they fired me like one day, just out of nowhere. Management changes.
Just changes.
Just a lot of changes. The company's doing restructuring. Gone. Boom. Okay. And I was like, damn, bro. Like, I was so close. And I'm always scared, right? I'm always filled with fear. How am I going to make money? How am I going to survive? And that was a straight commission files job that my friend said, I don't want to do it. It was knocking on doors. I was like, dude, I don't care. I'm going to show up. I show up to the interview, and I asked the guy, what's your top guy making here? He's like, he's doing about 8 sales a week, which is about $1,600 a week. I'm like, this guy's doing $1,600. What's the common thing? If they're doing $1,600, I'm going to do double. I'm always doubling everyone, right? Yeah. And that's when I really cranked it. I made $139,000 in 11 months. Okay. And that's how I went into the entrepreneurial life, because during those 11 months, I had no training, no script, no nothing. We had meetings once or twice a week. Right. As a matter of fact, my first day in training in sales was my trainer shows up to the turf. He's like, I'll be right back. I got a follow-up. That was my first day. Wow. I've never seen him since then. I knock on the first door. Nobody answers. Second door, the guy opens up a door. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm calling him. He ain't answering. I call my manager. I'm like, got a customer here. What do I got to do? He walked me through the whole sales process. That was my first customer. And from that day, I was like, I don't need anyone to train me. I want to figure this out.
You got to figure it out.
And that was kind of like how I did that transition to the self-employed. And then eventually, if you want to hear the story, how I ended up opening the business, it was like, what ended up happening 11 months later, that office was basically, they were shutting down.
Their office was.
That specific office, because there was about 14 people in that office, 13 people, and 9 of them were basically because I recruited them.
Okay.
Their lease was ending, and they wanted to move the office to Manhattan.
Oh.
And we were in Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
And I was like, guys, I'm not going to Brooklyn. And I got 9 of these guys that I personally recruited because you guys have no training, no nothing. Because I started training. I started creating my own little business within that business. I'm like, I don't need them. They don't even have the big dream that I have. They don't have the vision. They don't care about training. They don't care about nothing. All they care about is making a commission and making some money, and that's it. But me, I'm like, no, I want to build something. And that's when I made a decision. So you know what? If they don't have the vision and the dream that I have, I can't depend on that. I got to just go out there and create my own thing.
So that's why I know you're an entrepreneur. I know you said that you really didn't have this like mindset when you were younger, but this is something I personally believe you have to be born with this, like this portion of your gene to want to build something, because it does take a lot of risk.
I was forced to build it, I think. I don't think I would have been an entrepreneur if I had a normal, regular life, in my opinion.
Well, right.
My life was so chaotic that inconsistency. And entrepreneurship it's a weird thing, because you want to have consistency. Like, we want freedom, we want to
we want it,
but it's not what you get.
No,
right? It's the satisfaction of the progress. That's really the progressive realization of a worthwhile goal. That's the juice. That's the
fulfillment.
That's the fulfillment. And when you're making a difference in your life and other people's lives, you see the change in the progression in everything that you're doing. That's the exciting part. Like, I hear people, I want to retire. I'm like, dude, trust me, when you have the money, you're not going to want to retire. I thought about, dude, I did it for like 11, 10, 9, 8 months, sitting there looking at my ceiling like this. I was telling Malik, I was like, just sitting there.
That's essentially the same situation. Like, I'm sitting back, I'm like, okay,
now
what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, you start thinking like, now what?
Okay, let me start up-level entrepreneur. Let me do that.
So like, I was forced into being an entrepreneur because no one really gave me a chance. I felt like I was the outcast, the black sheep. No one wanted to bet on me. And that was their fault, because I knew inside of me that if the only person I can bet on at that time was me, because no one knew what was inside of my heart. They didn't know that I was going to change into this positive person. You met me 15 years ago, you wouldn't bet on me.
Right.
And I think that's why I always love doing these podcasts. Like, I'll go anywhere. I'll travel just to do it, because there is that one Michael person that's watching this video. And it touches his heart to let him know that you can do it. You don't need anyone else's belief in you. You got to just go out there and do it. And you can. Doesn't matter your background. I don't have a crazy story, in my opinion. There's other crazy stories out there. Worse.
Absolutely.
We're not here to compare stories, but your struggle is your struggle. And your victory is your victory. And you got to go out there and not let that struggle defeat you and beat you down. You got to take that struggle and say, wow, I love this. I'm going to use this as a fuel to become the best version I can. The 2.0 version of Michael Barayev.
But what is it that gives you that ability to say, I'm going to take this negative pile of like trash that exists in my life and turn it into treasure? Because
I did a video the other day that there's 4 types, and I learned this from Patrick McDavid. I don't know if you follow him. There's 4 ways to drive people, right? There's 4 motivators. One of them is madness. I'm a madness kind of guy. Tell me I can't do it, done deal. Tell me the competition's trying to compete with me, let's go. Like, I that's what fuels me. Some people are driven by lifestyle, recognition, feeling good. Some people are they're triggered and they're motivated by empowering other people, making a difference and enlightenment. That's awesome. Me?
But for you, it's madness.
Madness. Because my whole life was full of madness.
Right.
It was insane. I'm not joking. Like 0 to 19, I cannot recollect any happy memories. I don't remember my mom and my dad ever holding hands and kissing. I don't understand how they even got married. I don't understand that. The fact that they brought me into this world scares the crap out of me. Why? Why be together for so long and have so much hate with each other? I've never seen my dad kiss my mom. That's the scariest concept. I don't even know. Well, I had a trouble with all my relationships because I did not know how to love. Well, I had no idea. It was difficult. Like,
there was
love.
Nothing to model.
There was no model. So for me, I'm not blaming my dad, by the way.
No.
This is a blessing to me to learn this on my own and learn it through my relationships. But like, the challenges that I had to go through, everyone has to go through their challenge. And those challenges, you have to look at, okay, am I going to let this defeat me and take me down to the negative path? Or what am I going to do to change my life? Because I couldn't live like that, man. Chaos all the time is not worth it. When you have police coming in every single week, I was in mental hospitals multiple times because they thought I was not normal. Like, it's not a fun life to live in. It's not. So I took the pain and I turned it into fuel. And you have to think about, some people are afraid of going to those dark rooms. Like, I don't know, Tim Grover talks about, getting in touch with your dark forces. I live with my dark. The demons are afraid of me. When I wake up in the morning, when I hit my 2 feet in the ground, the devil is scared of me. That's how I feel.
I am the storm. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of that because I understand that I got faith on my side. Without God, I ain't nobody. And I knew that since day one. Like, as long as I have God on my side, me and God, game over. No ghosts, no beasts, no nothing. They're afraid of me. So when I wake up in the morning, the devil goes to sleep. That's how I feel. Because there's nothing he can do to stop me because I'm with God and I have faith. And you can't have faith and fear like we talked about earlier. You cannot have faith and fear at the same time.
Yeah, both
Two
are doubts.
thoughts.
Both are doubts.
Both are?
Both faith and fear and doubts.
Explain that. I'm curious to hear that.
Yeah, well, think about it. If you have faith in something, you don't actually know it to be true. You have faith in it.
Correct. Oh, I see what you're saying.
So it's a doubt.
It's a doubt.
But fear is also a doubt.
But it's a positive doubt. That's the thing.
Faith is a positive doubt. Absolutely. That's the
But
doubt
it's more of a, fear. You're
it
like,
depends on what the faith is in.
Correct. But with faith, the reason why I like it, it's a positive doubt. For me, it's like, it's not up to me.
Mhm.
It's up to who?
God.
The power, not me. Who am I? I'm just a pawn. I'm a pawn of this game. He's the king. And if I always say this, in front of God, I'm a pawn. In front of the world, I'm a king. And I have to add value to make other pawns realize that he is the king.
Exactly.
And that's the only way you got to play your game. And when you do that, you have utmost confidence, not a cockiness, which is what I had before, but more of a confidence. When you walk into a room, who are you? How can I make your life better? How can I add value to you? Like right now, I'm inspired about inspiring someone else. It's not about me. It's not even about you. It's about the next person that's watching this, who's sitting in his basement right now in his mom's house, scared shitless to make a decision to go open up that business. Scared shitless to go on straight commission.
Yeah, it's hugely scary.
Faith.
Hugely scary. I mean, you did not have the traditional upbringing. You did not have the traditional experience with regard to just getting employed. You went out and basically kept what you killed. Commission-oriented beast, if you will. That's how you grew up. When you made a decision to open up this other office, because again, they made a decision to close. You made a decision to open it up, keeping your team intact. Was that like
kind of? So like I recruited because as I was building that office.
Okay.
That office had 13 people. 9 out of them.
9 was you.
Okay. I literally brought them from other places. Some of them came from my Amway business. I just started recruiting because I was like, wow, this is an amazing opportunity. I was making $2-3 grand a week. At that time for me, I was like, wow, $2,000-3,000 a week, and all I got to do is knock on doors to get a couple of no's. I'm like, let's do this. Well, everyone was like, oh, I don't know about knocking. Because they're worried about the process. I'm worried about the change.
What's the end?
What's the end goal? Like, what am I doing? If I gotta jump over 20 hoops, who cares?
Exactly.
As long as the result is juicy enough, the reward is juicy enough, I'll do whatever it takes.
It's a return on your investment.
And everyone's worried about how they look in front of other people. Oh, I don't want to look like I'm knocking on doors. Dude, I don't care. I'll shovel horse shit to feed my family.
Exactly.
Who cares? I'll sell toothpicks door to door. I'll be the best toothpick seller on the planet because it changes your life. I have a bunch of those. But like the point is like most people are thinking too much instead of creating action. So at that time when we had like 9 people in that room, I was like, guys, we're either going to go to Manhattan and we're going to lose all this time and energy driving 2 hours every single day, just wasting time, or I'm just going to do our own thing. And when I started my own thing, I said, some of them came, some of them didn't. But my first day, T-Mobile, one of my friends had a contract with T-Mobile.
Okay.
He's like, I can get you in touch with them. Can you be here at 9:15?
So wait, you started your own enterprise, but was that with T-Mobile or was it
Great
with
question.
anyone?
So I made a decision a month before, like because they told us we're going to shut down the office, this and that. And the manager at the time offered me $200 a week to manage that office. I was like, wait, I'm your top sales guy. I have 90% of the people in the room that are bringing you money, which I'm not even getting an override, which I'm not even asking for any money. Like I'm just making off money at my own sales. I wasn't getting a dime from training anyone. I didn't care because I was so excited about helping everyone, right? Just give, and that's it. And he offered me $200. I said, Chris, let me get this clear. $200? Is that what you're offering? I said, I don't mind, but like, where's that? We're just restructured. I'm like, bro, listen, I appreciate you. This ain't gonna rock. Because you don't see the value in me. And if you don't see the value in me, like I said, you don't want to bet on my horse? No problem. I'm going to bet on my own horse. So during that month, this was July, I just went and opened up my own LLC, and I said, that's it. Like, I'm just going to do something. I don't know what it's going to be. I had no idea. I committed. I opened up EIN.
Took action.
I took action right away, immediately. I didn't know what I was going to do, what I'm going to sell. I had no clue. But with faith, I was like, I'm going to figure it out. Long story short, one of my friends, actually the manager of that office, was leaving as well, and he had a contract with T-Mobile. He's like, I can get you in touch with them. I just got to speak to them. No problem. A couple of weeks later, he calls me up at 8:45 at night. Said, can you be here at 9:15? I'm looking at the time. We're like, all right, it's going to take me 40 minutes to get there. I'll be there. I literally just said, I'm there. I zoomed to Manhattan in the middle of the night, sat down for 2 hours with some of the executives that worked with T-Mobile, and they said, okay, so tomorrow morning, how many guys can you bring for training? I was like, 10. I don't know who, I don't know where, I don't know nothing.
Figure it out.
All I said was just 10. They go, okay, we'll see you tomorrow at 8:30. The second I left that restaurant, it was 10 o'clock at night. Oh, man, till 3 in the morning. I remember that like it was yesterday. I called everybody on my phone, my friends. I called my 2 brothers. Like, I just needed a pack. We showed up with 3-piece suits, 2-piece suits, 10 people. There was 4 different teams that were launching that launch with the pilot. We were the best looking team. Everyone started, we asked the best questions. We were learning. We were studying notebooks, everything. And I was like, this is where it started.
It's going to work.
And that's how we started. August 1st of 2016 was when Barayev Marketing kind of launched.
Wow. Now, talk about that journey. So you started in 2016. What was like the first year like for you?
So the first 9 months was chaos. Again, everything's chaos.
Yeah.
Because it was a theme, a scary thing, right? We were basically selling T-Mobile business to business.
Okay.
So I'll give you an example. Selling to business owners or B2B is a very difficult sale. Now try selling cell phones B2B.
Yeah.
Nightmares. The fact that we even survived, I'm scared to even speak about. There was days I was looking at my payroll, I was like, how am I going to pay this? I did not know how I was going to do it. Now, lucky I was a smart man. During my Verizon time, I was able to save up $100,000+ and I had some money to start using for the business. But I was scared. A lot of times I was like, there was one time I had a chargeback of $50,000.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, if they charge me back, I'm done.
How am I going to do this?
I'm out. There's no way I'm going to survive. Somehow, we negotiated kind of like not charge us that 50 grand. That kind of saved us. But then 2017 of May, an old friend of mine, not a friend, he was a competitor of mine that always hated me because I was always selling more in his territory, basically. Mm-hmm. So I bumped into him in the street and we started talking and he offered me a relationship with Verizon and we got a contract with Verizon. So the T-Mobile 9-10 months that we were doing from August till about April, May, that was a very, very, very scary time for business. Okay. Very scary. We had about 15, 20 people at the time, but I had to keep my team with leadership. Like the only reason why they stuck around was, in my opinion, was because of me.
Right.
Like there was no other reason why. The money wasn't there. They were getting paid. Like there was weeks they were making $200-300 a week.
Right.
Like there was just no way. And we figured it out. We went through a crazy chaotic storm. May 2017, we had the right contract with the right product. Boom, it started snapping. From May 2017 till to the summer of 2019, those 2 years, we built a team from like 10, 15 people to about 150+ reps.
Wow.
And it just exploded like that.
That's hugely insane.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, it was just growing so crazy. I couldn't control it. We were opening up offices. It was just exploding. And that was my problem, right? At that time, I started to forget the real reasons why I was there. It wasn't because of me. It was because of him. I started getting cocky, started getting arrogant, and my leadership started to kind of like shake a little bit.
Let's talk a little bit about that leadership for a second, because at this point, you're still focusing on sales yourself. Right?
2018 was when I stopped knocking on doors.
Okay, so
because the company grew so much. Yeah, I was focused on operations and building the company.
Yeah. So talk about a little bit about that process. Like how did you learn how to build your operations system, your back office? Like tell me.
Yeah. So I'm a hungry dude. Like I am consuming content all the time. So I'm buying courses. I'm the most arrogant but humble person in my opinion for myself. Like I may know something very well, but in my mind I'm like, no, I don't know it enough. Who's better than me? Who's better? So if someone's better than me by 1%, I'm listening, baby. What do you know that I don't know? Talk to me. Teach me. I ask a lot of questions. How much did it cost? Because you know more than me about that specific subject.
Right.
Who am I? Once again, I'm a pawn. I'm nobody. I'm just a facilitator here, man. Mm-hmm. But if I learn as much information as I can to apply it, it's much easier for me to win ball games. So how did I grow so fast? I literally ask questions to everybody. I look like a stupid man asking everyone questions, learning from them. And people love to give you information.
Absolutely.
Especially when you ask. Because you make them feel amazing.
Exactly.
Like this podcast kind of makes me feel uncomfortable because I'm like, I'm the one talking, right? Because I like to learn from other people's stories.
But you have huge amount of value to offer.
I appreciate that.
Here. So tell me a little bit about the structure you put in place, like for your team. Like, did you hire all like tell me about that?
So yeah, so the thing is this: back in 2016,
this is 16, okay.
Yeah, so when we started the company, it was all about just recruiting, and I was out there recruiting. I was out there selling, and I was out there training and building the teams out.
Okay.
But my mindset was always this: how do I X myself out of that position?
That's a smart mindset.
Everything I do, how do I X out? Like for example, I don't manage my social media. Right, I got Malik doing that. Why? Because why am I going to spend? Not to say that it's a bad thing, no. But why am I going to spend?
I'm 100% right there with you.
A task to do with social media when I have someone that is really good at that, who has millions of views. Like I'd rather have a specialist do that versus me trying to be the ultimate. I don't know what the word is. Just do everything by myself.
Yeah.
I always hire, but I also want to verify I'm doing it with the right person. Like I'm not going to sit there and try to video myself. That's stupid. I hire a videographer. I'm not going to sit there and edit my videos. I could do it better in 2 hours. Who cares? Pay it out. Hire other people. And one of the things that I learned is that you cannot delegate leadership. Mm-hmm. So you have to, at the end of the day, no matter what, as a CEO, you are the leader. But as long as you develop other leaders in your company, that's how you can X yourself out of that business. So I learned to X myself out in a lot of positions.
So you went from CEO to CEO. The way I put it is you were chief everything officer to chief executive officer. What was that process like? Like, how did you make the decisions?
everything I did, I was always bringing somebody with me.
Okay.
You'll never see me do anything by myself. I always bring somebody with me. So when I was a salesperson, I was always with my guy, Jason. I was always with him. I was teaching him everything I knew.
So he was learning through
He was learning. I'm always selling with someone. I'm in a house with someone. I'm selling because I'm not trying to make money. Making money is a low level idea. You're not trying to make money. You're trying to build something. You want to build something and add value, right? So I need to make sure that I'm duplicating myself. The thing that I learned from my Amway business back then was like, it's all about duplication. If you cannot duplicate yourself, you don't have a business.
Yeah, 100%.
You have a very rich, profitable business, but it's just you.com. It's not going to work. You have to be able to duplicate yourself, right? So like I always say this, if you cannot go on vacation for a month or two, you don't have a business. Or even 3 months, 6 months, right? You have to learn how to X yourself out of the business and have other people take on the role. Yes, it means less profit short term.
Absolutely.
But long term, baby. And that was my mistake.
Vision comes in. That's where the vision comes in.
Yes, and that was my mistake. That was my mistake. I kind of like, I got a little bit, because when you start seeing money, like, oh shit, I don't want to lose this. And that was my mistake. I should have delegated a little bit more. That was one of my mistakes. And kind of give more control to certain people.
Okay.
But one of the things that I did was when I was selling, everybody was with me. And I was always training. And I built systems. Because I'm like, okay, I'm always the one training. How do I X myself out of this?
Right.
So I got to build systems. So we had training scripts, we had videos, we had a process.
That you built yourself or you had a team member build for you?
We built it together. So I heard competitors, I heard this from this event, gathering information. I wasn't the genius.
Okay.
I'm a good, what do they call this?
Filter.
I'm a good filter. There you go. It's a good word, right? I just regurgitate information and put it into my business. So I had a guy who was a VP of a huge Salesforce company, right? And every single week I would sit down with him and he would help me because he used to work he was working with T-Mobile. So I would take him out to lunch.
Take notes.
Oh, good idea. He's like, you need a 5-day training process. I'm like, okay, I like that. You need to do this, that. I don't know. And I used to always take notes. And I was a dummy learning from someone that had experience. Take all that information, 2.5 years of success. It ain't me. It's the information I got from all these people. So once you learn how to train other people, now you got to learn how to train others how to train, right? That's called equipping. And that's one of our models in our company. Train, equip, develop, right? If you don't know how to train other people, you are useless. Salespeople, in my opinion, are not the end all. Sales leaders are the end all. Because if you're able to motivate a pack of wolves, that's more valuable than you just packing, 100%. Making a couple of sales by yourself.
And every business needs sales. I mean, at the end of the day. So whether you're training an official sales team or you're just having your team members know how to sell, that's an important trait. So,
100%.
Like, what was your methodology for training them?
So methodology of training is very simple. You have to have obviously videos. You have to have a scripts and content and stuff like that. But it's really that one-on-one interaction with someone, right? The mentor/mentee relationship, the practice, the going out there and showing someone how to get it done. Like if I'm taking, let's say me and you, we got to start a new business, we got to start selling something. The first thing I'm going to do is like, you're coming with me, I'm selling, you're watching. And then as you're watching me, I'm asking you questions. What did you learn? Why do you think I said that? Did I ask that question? Why did I not ask that question? You see why I did this time? Because you're showing him different presentations and he's like, why are they a little bit different? Because you're wrapping it around the person. The process is the same, but you're wrapping it around the person. It's a little bit different. So you're getting their mind to stimulate and think. And I'm not giving them the answers. I'm making them come up with the answers themselves. And then once they feel like they have enough information, now you go sell and I'm watching you. Hey, how you doing, sir? Yeah, he's here. I'm just a trainee here. I'm just quiet. And if I need to interject, now the trainee becomes a trainer.
Exactly.
Right? And now you're powerful in that meeting because there's two people adding value to this one homeowner, one business owner, whatever it is that you're selling, right? So now you're watching him train. The second you're done, even if you lost a deal, what did you learn?
Exactly.
Why do you think that you didn't get that sale? Why did you get that sale? What would you do differently? Write it down. Put it in your notes so they remember. Take a video of yourself. Record them, right? They have to record themselves and listen to them. Sometimes sales guys, they sound like shit. Sorry for my language.
Yeah, I get it.
You sound like crap. You think you sound like fairy tales and butterflies, but you sound like a whoa.
Exactly.
And it's scary, man. Some of you sales guys need to check your audio. Like record yourself. You'll be surprised at how you sound, right? So multiple recordings. Video yourself. Some of you guys look like this in the presentation. Smile. Be happy, right? And people don't realize that their body language and who they are, their tonality is everything, right? Like right now, you're probably listening to this video. You're captivated by my tonality. Up, down, left, right, motions, this, that. And he's sitting here paying attention. Like it's captivating because my energy levels are different than some guy that does this. Hey, how are you, man? I'm here to sell you something. It's cold soda, man. It's going to change your life.
We've all experienced
We all experienced that. Yeah, you want to be around someone that's dynamic. I'm not saying be crazy like me, but you have to have that energy.
You have to be genuine.
Yes, be authentic and genuine who you are. Correct.
But build a presence.
But you want to hear something crazy? Attention. I had a guy named Matt the Ninja. We used to call him in our office. He was a fly in the wall. You wouldn't even know he's in the room. We just call him Matt the Ninja for a reason. He was an IT guy. IT guy, never did sales before, quiet like a mouse. He was one of our top sales guys.
Wow.
And I proved that because I said, you don't have to be like Michael.
No.
You just got to be like you.
Yeah.
And he could be the quietest IT guy in the room and still sell more than me because when he was in front of the customer felt his energy and presence with who he was. He was quiet, he was meek a little bit, but that's who he was.
Exactly.
You just got to be you, you know? And that's how you train. Now this person is ready, and now we have leadership every single day. We teach them how to lead other people. The whole model of our business, we're not a sales company, we're not a solar company. We're a leadership development company that by default sells solar. Okay. And if you have that kind of methodology in your business, that you're not selling what you're selling, then you have this, you have the right foundation. We're building leaders.
Yeah, the product or service is just the byproduct.
100%. And that's what helped us grow so fast. Like right now, in 1 year, we've done what we've done in 3.5 years in our first locations in New York and New Jersey. We've done it in a year. Okay. I'm not so special. It's just the process doesn't change. It works.
Right.
You know, if you just apply the process, it works 100%.
So we're now, let's go back in time. We're in 2019. You're now just on the brink of 2020. Obviously, everyone knows what happened in 2020. What happened with your business at that point?
Best thing that ever happened to me was I made a decision to move to Miami, and the pandemic happened. The pandemic was the best decision for me. Okay. People say, oh my God, you lost this. No, it was the best thing that ever happened because it taught me a very valuable lesson, which we can get into a little bit. But 2019, I made a decision that I'm heavily dependent on one contract, which is Verizon. I'm super heavy. As a matter of fact, 88% of the revenue came from Verizon. I had energy. I had a little bit of home security. I was like, nah, I can't do that. Yeah. And my decision was, okay, I have to diversify a little because when you have a lot of success, copy and paste it. Yeah. So we tried to do that with home security sales, but I didn't have enough time because the pandemic came. Okay. But I decided to do it in Miami because it was a good market. And I always wanted to live in Miami, save some money on taxes, the weather, the real estate. I just always wanted to be here, right? Okay. So when we came down to Miami, I was living here. I was living in New York. And I was building a team. We had about 8-9 guys ready to rock and roll. And then March, boom. Yeah. So I had to make a decision, right? Mm-hmm. What do I do? That's when I opened up the office, which is not that far from here. Yeah. For the call center, we were doing home security sales over the phone. Okay. But it just didn't fulfill me the way, like I was so hurt and so burnt out. I don't say burnt out, but like I was in pain. Mm-hmm. I was in trauma that I made I kind of judged myself a little bit for making those bad decisions. I learned a lot. I read a lot of books. I went through a lot of like mental, just sifting and figured out that what I was doing was fucking wrong. Okay. Like the way I led my team the first time was not right. Certain things I needed to change, like be a little bit softer in certain people, be less this, be more.
But you own that. I mean, at the end of the day, you took control. Say, hey, listen, what I was doing was not right.
Not all the time. Like some parts. Like I started realizing what I needed to change to make it even better. Like if I was to do this again, what would I change? Okay. Would I make it different? Like what would I make different? And that's what kind of inspired me to open up solar because I was like, I want to implement these changes. I really want to do it the right way this time. Okay. And I started to do it, and it actually started to work even better. That's why we grew faster in 12 months.
Now, what would you say in the new business? Where do you find the most things challenge you? Where are you most challenged with solar at this point?
Right now with solar, I mean, there's so many challenges in the aspect of the business, like permitting and dealing with the city and dealing with utility companies. But that's not really that's business. That's business challenges. That's business challenges. My biggest challenge for me, I would say, is learning how to deal with different types of leaders and letting my personality is a little bit insane. My vision is very big and grandiose, and it can scare some people sometimes because they can't see it sometimes. So I have to learn how to slow down a little bit to let them catch the vision and see to fruition sometimes. Okay. And that's what I'm kind of working on right now because I have 10 people that report directly to me. Okay. And I would say 80+% of them are A people. Not A-type personalities, but like A quality, like superstars. I don't waste my time with C's because it's not going to be a good ROI for me. And I got to learn how to deal with 8 or 9 or 10 different types of personalities.
That are all superstars.
That are superstars, that have their own egos, that have their own personalities, that have their own challenges, that have their own reasons why they're doing this. And I got to learn to work with them individually. And that takes a lot of time and energy.
Do you use any like profiling systems like DISC or anything like that?
I mean, you can. I've learned about DISC, all that stuff. I just have my own mental profiling, kind of like my own filtering system that I can feel. Like I don't like to filter because sometimes you can be wrong with that sometimes. Yeah, 100%. So I like to do it based on their actions. Okay. Because sometimes people change. It's crazy. Oh, yeah. Like
humans evolve.
Humans evolve. So like what worked for them 3-4 years ago will not work for them now. Like I have one guy on my team that he needs his space. Okay. Like if you tell him what needs to get done, he's oppositional. He's defiant like me, like my personality. So I work with him with very soft, tender, making him feel like he is the guy. Okay. Because if he doesn't feel like he's the guy, he won't mesh with me. I have another guy who needs more support, more love. He needs more caressing, more everyone's
Exactly,
different.
whatever it is.
So whatever works for them, I'm a chameleon as a leader. And this doesn't mean that you're not authentic. You are authentic.
100%.
You're just being a chameleon to wrap yourself around them to make them feel special and important. Because remember, at the end of the day, they're following me as their leader because they see something in me. They believe in me and they trust in me. And I have to make sure that I give the same respect and love to them as well, but in their language. Because every business owner, every team member, every person on my team has a different love language that you have to apply to. So that's the challenge. That's a challenge on its own.
That's a challenge for any leader.
And that's one of the biggest challenges I think many people have. They don't know how to deal with different personalities, different leaders, and learn how to like really make them excel in their field without egos getting involved sometimes.
How are you teaching your leaders then to do the same thing with people who report to them?
So the great thing is that we have every single day we have training.
Okay.
We have leadership training. We have sales training. Right? We also invest in them by going to programs and events and stuff like that. Like I'm very big proponent of take your money. These guys make a lot of money. Take your money and invest in yourself. Now, I can't ask them to do that if I'm not doing it myself.
Yeah, you can't make them do it, but you model it for them.
You model it for them, and the culture is very big on education, learning, growing, studying, becoming a better you, and that's what we always talk about, and that's what we invest in them a lot. So the culture that we have in our company is education. I even have my staff. They're required to read a book a month. Okay. Like that's one of my requirements, and I get really upset if they don't read the book. Like we have
that.
Tough conversations.
Put that into effect, guys.
You may have to. I mean, can I be honest with you? They may not like, oh, Michael. I say, no, nothing.
Yeah,
I know what it did for me. And I know that if you're here and you don't become a better you, you're hurting our business. You're hurting the opportunity. You're hurting the customers. Mm-hmm. I need you to be a better you for you. Because if you're a better you, the customers are taken care of.
Exactly.
So as all of us grow, and I'm not expecting you to read 6 books a month like me. Yeah. I'm reading 6. That's my commitment. Mm-hmm. Can you just do one? Right. One basic book. We pick it as a team. Pick the book yourself. I don't care. As a team, we collectively pick a group. Pick a book for the group. And that's it. And we've been doing that, and it's been helping a lot. Some people that are newer are getting accustomed to that. Mm-hmm. Oh, Michael, you're a tyrant. Yes, I am. When it comes to education, that's part of our culture. You don't like it? There's a million solar companies.
Other businesses.
100%.
Okay. Wonderful. What would you say has been the most impactful thing to you in your development of your business, development of you, development of Michael?
So many things. I mean, every day is, I feel like so empowered to live the life that I live. Like I pinch myself sometimes like, why me? Right? Like, why did God choose me? Before it was from a negative standpoint, like, why me?
Why me? But now
it's like, really, like, what did I do to deserve all this? And I realized that the compound effect really kicks in, like, when you don't realize, like, what you do today will determine how you live in the next 4 or 5 years.
Oh, 100%.
And most people don't realize that. They're looking for the result today. They're looking for that popcorn society. They always want the shit now. And it's not going to always work out now. And my biggest, maybe it's a mistake, maybe it's a good thing, I always live in the future. Like I'm already living at 35 years old.
It's like Gary Vee says, like patience.
Yeah, I call it aggressive patience. Yeah. Like I'm not a patient person, but I'm very aggressive in my patience. Like I understand there's a process to it. I always say this, patience are for doctors. I don't want any of it, right? But aggressive patience, I want some of it. You know what I mean? Because you need to. But, I learned that, the biggest impactful thing for me was me changing me. It's so beautiful that you don't have to be who you are today. The flaws that you have are not going to stick with you forever if you make a decision to change yourself. You're not stuck with you. You can change you. That's the most beautiful thing in the planet. Exactly. And when I realized that at 19, my whole life changed. Like I am a completely different person. It's crazy because the kids' parents that used to say, stay away from Michael.
Now want to.
They're crazy because now they're like, oh, call Michael. Ask him for a job. Ask him to work. And it's so funny. Like I knew that was going to happen one day. I just 100%. Couldn't prove it to them at that time.
No, but you were committed to it.
I was committed. That was the fire. And so I had to, man. Because I couldn't embarrass my mom because my mom was looked at as the lady that had the 3 kids, me and my 2 brothers, as those kids were never going to be successful. I was like, you know what? If I can't bet on my brothers to do it, because they're going to be successful, they're going to be great at what they do, but I can't bet on that because I don't control them, but I can control me. So just for my mom's sake, just for my sake, I'm going to do it. Whatever it is, success is whatever I want it to be. If I go to the bathroom right now and get it in, and I say, that's my success, that's success, baby. But for me, it was just showing the world that take your past, turn it 180 degrees, and you can do it.
What would you say is your biggest failure?
My biggest failure is me. I'm my biggest failure. Meaning I always make a lot of mistakes, and my biggest lesson out of that is don't judge yourself. And that's why I don't judge myself. Like I make a mistake, oops, sorry, next. Like that's how I am. But I realize that most people, they don't think like that. You can hurt someone, they can be holding on to it for 3 years.
100%.
But like I learned to let go of and just be a very forgiving person. Like it is what it is. I got screwed over in business. I got lied to. I got cheated in business. Anything. It probably happened to you too. But like, it don't bother me because they didn't cheat on me.
Exactly.
Like if my fiance cheats on me, she ain't cheating on me. She's cheating on herself. You can't cheat on me. I love me too much for you to cheat on me. You just screwed yourself out of a position of love in my life. Now, that's a very cocky way of thinking, but it's a very protective way of saying, listen, your choices affect you. They don't affect me. The only choices that can affect me are my choices. If someone quits on my business, they quit on me. And I got to change something about that. I got to do that. I got to change that thing for the next person. So that's how I look at it. You know, like my biggest mistakes have always come because of my decisions and because of me, the way I think. So my whole life, I'm thinking about, how do I think differently? How do I change the way I think? What I know today is not the answer to get me to where I need to go. Wherever I need to go to next, I need to change my mindset. I need to change my thought process. I am not me. I need to change me. That's my mindset all the time.
What would you say then is your biggest success?
My biggest success. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not here yet, right?
I don't know, because I don't worry about that. Like, I don't care about, like, success to me is like I said, if you say you're gonna go to the bathroom and get it in, that's success. Okay. And a lot of people are very competitive, like, oh, I'm the number one this, number two that. To me, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Like, I know I'm playing the infinite game. I don't know if you read the book by Simon Sinek. It's an infinite game to me. Yeah. Like, I got punched in the face by Corona. I went into the sidelines. I was sitting on the bench, came back in a bench, and doing way better than I did before. To me, that's success. Me becoming a better version of me. So, like, I'm not competing with anybody, really. I'm competing with myself, my own standards. So I'm kind of living in my head and having an exciting time in there. You might not survive there for a little bit, but it's very exciting for me to see the changes that I have and watching my life for the past 20, 30 years, like, who I'm becoming every single day. I would say what my biggest nightmare is me dying one day and seeing the person I could have become. And that, to me, is my biggest scary thing. So that's why every single day, not every week, I'm not just saying this to sound good. Every single day, I have habits, 9 habits that I do every single day that make me better. Okay. 9 things I do every single day.
What? Unpack that. Share, tell the audience, what are your 9 things?
I mean, they're not crazy. One of them is taking my vitamins. Okay. Right? And drinking protein. That's my first thing. Okay. Right? Because that right there, to me, is like my health. Like, it reminds me I need to stay healthy. That's why I go to the gym still, all that stuff, right? Number 2 is I write down my goals. Okay. So every single day, I'm writing down my goals, right? What I want in future, like, as if I already got it. So I am blah, blah, blah. I am 175 pounds, blah, blah, whatever it may be, right? And I've been changing that a lot because I keep hitting these targets. I'm like, wow, make it bigger. The only regret I have is not making it bigger. That's it. That's number 2. Then I pray. I pray to God, right? 10, 15 minutes. I'm Jewish, so I put on tefillin in the morning. I pray to God, say thank you. I'm very grateful for what I have. I don't feel like I'm special. I feel like you just blessed me in so many ways. Like, be lucky, right? Be blessed and lucky. And that's kind of like how I finish off. Then I walk to the gym, which is a 5-minute walk from my house. I either go to the gym in the building, or I go in LA Fitness, which is like 5 minutes away. And I do my workout. Okay. That's my 4th thing. And then what did I say?
It was 4. So
it was 4. The 5th thing is, on the walk to the gym, I'm listening to my self-talk audio, which is like 5 minutes of me talking to myself about the goals and stuff like that.
I love that.
Every day. Okay. So it's me talking in the mirror, record it so I can hear it. So I'm programming myself. There's a book by Shed Hemstedler. He talks about what you say when you talk to yourself. Okay. Great freaking book. That changed my life, by the way. It was an awesome book. And I learned the power of your own words are 20 times. Like, if you call me stupid, it hurts. But if I call myself stupid, 100%. That is so much deeper. Yeah. Your subconscious mind lets that in, but my subconscious mind blocks your word stupid. So that's why I do that. I do the Stairmaster, right? 3-4 times a week. That's part of that 6th one. 7 is I listen to my audiobook. Okay. So right before I go to the office, 10-minute walk, my audiobook, walk the dogs, audiobook. Number 7? Number 8 is reading books. So I read 15, 20, 30 minutes that day, which is how I get 6 books a month. And then number 9 is, I have it there written down. I just check it off. Number 9 is YouTube. So I go through my YouTube content or my course content, whatever, so educating myself. So those are the 9 things that I do every single day.
So oftentimes I'll talk with other business owners, and I'll say the 3 aspects of your life that you focus on in order to get in your journey of success typically revolve either around your health, your wealth, and your relationships. It sounds like you have all 3, but what we haven't really talked about is relationships now. Like, tell me a little bit about you. You said you have a fiance. Yeah. Like,
so I met her in 2016, I believe, January 2016. She'll kill me if I don't know the date, right? Just kidding. 2016. Well, we met in 2015 December. We were talking for a month, but I wasn't really interested in taking anyone today because I was so focused. That was the time when I started my business. Exactly. 6 months, I wasn't talking to any girls. I was just really focused, right? And then she started talking to me. We were talking through Facebook. I was bored. She was bored. Let's go out on a date New Year's Eve. Okay. And from there, just kind of
New Year's Eve date. Wow.
Yeah, because
set the bar high.
I set the bar high, right? Okay. And then the first date, I was like, I don't think so. Okay. I was like, let me just go one more date. What really kept me in was because I always looked for a Dominican Jew.
Okay.
Like I'm Jewish. I wanted a Dominican Jewish girl. I just always wanted a Hispanic girl. It's just my preference. But it's very difficult to find a Dominican, which is a very small country, and on top of that, a Jewish girl, which is a small country as well. And I did. I was like, That's what kind of kept me to go to the second date. On the second date, we talked about family, morals, values, principles, things that are important to me, and like my entrepreneurial life and my journey.
Alignment.
And I knew from that day, I was like, she's the one.
Wonderful.
But I was so scared. I didn't want to commit to her for 3 years. So as we were together, the first 3 years was a nightmare because I didn't commit. Meaning I did not want, I committed, but half in, half out.
Yeah.
I didn't give her all. I didn't give her my heart. I didn't give her all that because I was afraid, filling with fear. And then 2000 and I think during the pandemic time, like 2-3 years ago, it's just been getting better because I made a decision. She's the one. I just got to go all in. And if I commit and I go all in, it's the only way it's going to work because it's up to me, not up to her.
What do you do to court on a regular basis?
With her?
Yeah. So I think one of the keys to success in relationships is you have to constantly court each other. Because most of the time, in the beginning of a relationship, when you're dating, that's the courtship phase, and when that fades off, you need to have
communication is everything, I think. Okay. Communication is everything. I tell her everything. She tells me everything. We trust each other 100%. I never really think about her talking to other men or doing all those kind of things. If I can't trust her, I wouldn't be with her. And if she can't, I went to Egypt for 10 days. She didn't call me, where are you? What do you do? That doesn't happen. Right. First of all, it would never happen because I can't live like that. You either trust me or you don't trust me. It's either you love me or you don't love me. There's no in-between bullshit.
Yeah. What the audience doesn't know is before we actually started the podcast, you actually gave her a call, said, I'm going to be recording, so don't call me, because you said something I found very, very telling just about who you are. You said, I always answer the phone if she calls. I
always answer. If I see the phone, I always answer. Yeah. Her and my mom are the only two people in the world that if they call me, I don't care what I'm doing. Hey, I'm in a meeting. I love you to death. Everything okay? Okay, good. Boom.
I love that. Tell me, what haven't I asked you that you would love to share that you think could be impactful?
I mean, we talked about a lot of things today. I think we talked about a lot of powerful things. I mean, the only thing that I wish that people really understood is that they are special. You can do this. You don't have to. There's so many examples. I'm nobody special. Yes, one day my goal is to be a billionaire. That's my goal. That's not a goal that, about money, because money to me is very pointless. Money can do a lot of things for me, but 10 million, 20 million, 100 million, it ain't changing nothing, right? I'm happy here. And most people are lacking happiness, true happiness nowadays, especially after the pandemic. They're just empty inside because they feel like they don't have a purpose. And you do have a purpose. You just got to figure out what that is. You got to look deep inside your soul and say, what do I actually enjoy doing? Become a master at that and give to other people, because true happiness comes from unconditional giving.
I love that.
When you give without expecting anything back, having a son, having a daughter, you give everything to them. You feel amazing joy because you really are giving out of the bottom of your heart, expecting nothing back. Too many of you guys are going to jobs or going to businesses expecting something. Remove the expectation and just go all in. And when you go all in with that kind of mindset, yes, you may get hurt. Yes, it may not go your way, but at least you give your all. And when you give your all, I promise you, you're not going to have depression, anxiety, fear, all this nonsense that we're all going through because of the content we listen to. So I just want to implore you to go out there and really build yourself and grow yourself and understand that God really loves you. You just got to figure out your purpose. And I know you're 21, 25 years old right now. You don't know what it is right now. It's okay. You're still going to, you don't have to have it all figured out.
Put one foot in front of the other.
I got lucky. I figured it out, but not everyone's like that. Not everyone's like that, and then it's okay. You got to figure out your story so you can go impact the world.
I love that. So powerful. You definitely, if you're watching this or you're listening to it, rewind, listen to that again, because it's so powerful. Michael, let's tell the audience, how can they reach out to you? How can they find you? Where can they find you? What would you like to let them know?
Yeah, you can find us on Instagram, Michael, MICHAEL _BARAYEV. That's on Instagram. That's on TikTok. You can find me on YouTube. I have a lot of free content. A lot of my content is free because I just want to help other people when it comes to building teams and building sales leaders and just entrepreneurial advice to help some of the young folks to kind of go out there and create success. So Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube is pretty much where we're always at, and adding continuous value every single day.
Wonderful. I'll make sure that gets in the show notes. Guys, I just want to say thank you for investing some time. I think you've made a major, well, you know what? I definitely thank you 100%. You've made the right decision because you're investing in yourself by taking a chance to just listen to other people who have gone through challenges, through struggles. Know that there is another side. There is a way to get through all of those issues to the other side. And it just takes effort, energy, commitment, putting yourself in the room with the right people, and then putting into practice the things that you learn. And it is one step after the other, but just keep moving forward. I wish you all well in your journey. Michael, thank you so much for coming out and sharing. Definitely been a pleasure. Till next time, I wish you well on your journey. Bye for now.
You're frozen.